Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul joined by Jack Weinberger and Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia, reacting to Week 4 of the NFL season. We got 2 Monday night games later tonight that are not going to be part of this episode. We'll have reactions to them at some point later on. Guys, a really fun Week 4 for me and Ziggy. Jack, not so much as a Steelers fan, but there's a long way to go this season. We're just about a quarter of the way, not even a quarter of the way through the regular season so far, and there have been a lot of ups and downs, some big injuries we're going to talk about, some crazy surprise performances so far this season. Please remember, if you're enjoying these videos, and a lot of people have been having a lot of fun with us, so we're enjoying the engagement, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You can become a member by going to our channel homepage and clicking join next to the logo. This week was a competition in the Pick'em League. If you're a member, you can join our Pick'em League. The winner this week will receive a free t-shirt, so we'll find out. We'll know by the time you're listening to this who won the free t-shirt for Week 4, for our Week 4 competition. And we appreciate everyone who's playing along with us there. If you can't listen on or watch on YouTube, you can always listen and watch on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. So we appreciate everyone, again, who's been sticking with us through this season. Ziggy, you're making some faces like you're not.
If you really appreciate us, how about you click on one of our Vikings videos?
Oh, yeah, geez. It's tough to get. How hard is it to get some people who like the Vikings to watch our show? Crazy.
I mean, we got even less Steelers fans than Vikings fans.
I know.
We got none of my boys supporting either.
I know. We have this giant Packer following, and what does it take for a Vikings are 4-0, having one of our best seasons in a while, and we can't get a view. It's pretty funny though. So again, though, we actually do really appreciate it. Did you see last night, by the way, Sunday night? All of a sudden, we started. I don't want to say trending, but we had a little clip of ours go viral on Twitter.
Yes, that was funny.
Yeah,
I watched that at work today.
And hey, honestly, I think we were just speaking the truth. We said Packers fans don't have to worry about anything right now, that they're in good shape, and Packers fans like hearing that, I guess. So
yeah. No, I watched it at work today. I was chuckling.
I thought it was pretty clear. Like, yeah, they played well in the second half. It was okay. But that was fun to see. That was great. Some great engagement for the channel right there. And the Grossi video. Apparently someone commented to Tom Grossi, hey, you should collab with the Paul Farrington Show. And he just goes, who is that? He goes, what's the Paul Farrington Show? I've never heard of that.
He'll know soon.
Maybe.
He'll know soon.
Yeah, we'll see. We might need to get the Grossi posse to start spamming some Paul Farrington Show comments.
The Grossi is always greener on the other side.
Oh, I like that. I like that. All right, so we got a fun show today. We're going to hit on Jack's going to hit on his Steelers game.
Took Ziggy about 2 minutes to put his hand in his head in this other.
The Steelers and the Colts. We'll have Jack's reaction to that. The Commanders. We talked a little bit about it on Sunday, but what the hell is going on in Washington? What are they giving to Jayden Daniels? There's got to be some sort of magical potion with the way he's playing right now. It's just unbelievable. We'll talk about some real NFC contenders. Are the Vikings the best team in the NFC right now? Maybe.
I thought you were going to say NFL.
Maybe the NFL. But first, here's the big question we're going to start off with today, guys. Who's the most dangerous team in the AFC? So the Chiefs are 3-0. Or 4-0, I'm sorry. But they had a big loss yesterday. The Rashee Rice injury. I don't know if it's confirmed the ACL yet. I don't think it is as of now, but in all likelihood, he's going to miss this season with an ACL injury. And it just sucks seeing Patrick Mahomes dive into his knee. You have your own quarterback take out your knee after an interception. Like, it was just unfortunate to see. He was having an unbelievable start to the season. I just mentioned him on the Sunday recording. And in the morning, I said he was having one of the best. He was my breakout fantasy player. He's been great. But that loss is huge. And will that change the dynamic of the AFC in your guys' eyes? So, Ziggy, right now, between the top teams in the AFC, like, who are you picking as most dangerous? And did the Chiefs come down from that spot potentially due to Rashee Rice's injury?
The Rashee Rice injury is big because I think we saw yesterday. I'm not going to say the Chiefs played bad. They won the game, but the offense, you could see once Rashee Rice went out, the offense was not nearly as good. The running game was poor. The passing game was even worse. And some of the connections that we're used to seeing, like Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce, instead of giving us the usual production, got us things like interceptions. So, the performance for both quarterbacks that game was troubling. There's no doubt about it. But an enormous amount of pressure is now on Xavier Worthy. He's the guy who got them back into that game. But anytime you're counting on a rookie wide receiver to come in and operate your entire offense for you, or be the guy, it's very hard to make that work. The adjustment to the NFL was huge. And as we saw, right, Rashee Rice this season, he's Patrick Mahomes' favorite target. This was really the breakout year. So I do think
the breakout game too against Atlanta. I mean, I know he'd been great all season, but against Atlanta, he had double digit. I think he had 10 catches on like 14 targets or something, over 100 yards. Looked unstoppable in that game.
The Chiefs last year, you could tell Patrick Mahomes was able to put it together, but it was clearly not the offense we were used to. It was barely good enough. And with all of the injuries they're facing this year, combined with an aging Travis Kelce, I think it's very hard to put them in that one spot. But, the other top AFC teams have problems too, right? The Ravens, you can say, well, they just blew up Buffalo, but they're 2-2. They haven't always looked their best, especially in the postseason. The Bills, you can say, well, they look like the best team, but they just got absolutely dog-walked in Baltimore. I'm not putting too much stock in the Ravens game. I think the Bills are still at that number one spot for me. But those, I think, are clearly the three teams in the AFC to watch out for.
Is anyone else, before we even answer the question, is there anyone else besides those three teams that deserve consideration right now?
Ziggy, you're forgetting.
You're
forgetting one team.
I don't think we've seen enough from any other AFC team to put them in that top tier.
Do you
not even the 3-1 Steelers?
The 3-1 Steelers. Just lost to the.
Like Fields played a great second half in that Colts game.
I'm trying to
think that game's an extra like 6 minutes. We win that game.
The Steelers' best win might be beating the Broncos by 7.
That's a great win.
Even with what the Broncos are doing now, but even on top of that, the 3-1 Texans, I don't think you can put them in that tier right now. It's really those three teams, and
the answer is Baltimore or Buffalo.
Yeah, you're not even. Well, we've been on this show. The thing that I want to keep saying though is until the Chiefs lose, it's hard to move them down. Like,
no, I'm saying the biggest threat to the
No. Who is the most dangerous team in the AFC? Period.
Oh,
that's the question.
It's the Steelers. I mean, I hate to say it, but the last couple of weeks they've kind of made a bit of a statement, and it pains me. There's a pain in my chest when I say Baltimore. I mean, I do like Buffalo a lot too. Josh Allen's a superstar. I think the lack of overall star power might have shown against the Ravens this past week. When they got blown out. Baltimore has been clicking. Like, they've found their offense these last 2 weeks. They were a couple inches away from going to overtime in Kansas City. If I'm the Chiefs, I don't want to see this team again. I mean, when they're clicking and they're going, and these last couple weeks they've shown what they can do, that's the most dangerous team in the AFC. They were the 1 seed last year. Now they're looking good these last 2 weeks again, hitting their stride. I hate to say it, I'm going to go with Baltimore, though.
Do you agree with him, Ziggy?
If I had to pick between them, it's close. But, I mean, when you beat a team 35-10, it's hard to say the other team goes on top of it. And this wasn't a fluke win from Baltimore. This was proof of concept, right? I know you can say Derrick Henry opened the game with an 87-yard rushing touchdown. That's probably not going to happen again. But it was all hands on deck. Justice Hill did a really excellent job in the passing game. Lamar Jackson had the perfect formula of effective passing with solid rushing. Like, this was the game that we've been waiting to see from the Ravens. And then the defense did an excellent job against Josh Allen and the Bills. Now, obviously, some of that was the Bills' own blunders, right? That ridiculous trick play that resulted in a fumble. I think being too conservative, punting early when you needed Josh Allen to have a game. But I mean, what did we actually see from the Bills offense besides that really nice touchdown pass or it wasn't a touchdown, that 52-yard pass to Khalil Shakir?
No, nothing.
Like, you didn't see a whole lot out of them. The Ravens defense did excellent. And I raised a lot of questions this offseason about how this defense with so many missing pieces from last year would be able to handle the best offenses. The Bills offense, you can say there's a lack of star power, and it's true, but they've looked very good through 3 weeks. But the Ravens shut it down. And so it's hard for me, even though they don't have the most exciting record after what they did to the Cowboys and what they've done to the Bills, to not put them number one.
Yeah, back to back too. And I mean, Baltimore, they also do, like, they do this. Like last year it was Detroit. Like, they'll have this game at home against another good team, and they look like the best team you've ever seen. Well, they would just win by 40 points.
And they did in San Francisco.
Yeah,
Remember
right,
San Francisco
yes.
too on the road? Yeah.
Yes. And when Baltimore, when they're at their ceiling of what they can do with Lamar, Derrick Henry, this offense, these weapons, and the playmakers they have, I don't really see many people stopping them.
Just to go back to Buffalo
Except
real
the Steelers.
quick, Ziggy, you mentioned the injuries, and that kind of finally caught up to them, where they had Teron Johnson's out, Matt Milano's out, Terrell Bernard's out. They've had some guys. They had someone get injured during the game. I think Rapp got hurt during the game against the Ravens in the second quarter, and they've been able to survive this. And I don't want anyone to take away from Buffalo's wins, because I've seen people say, well, the Cardinals don't look as good as we thought, and the Dolphins didn't have Tua. I mean, they were dominating that game before Tua went out. And then the Jaguars stink, but they still won that game by 37. Like, all those games show that Buffalo's very, very
Buffalo's good. Yeah,
they're very, very good, and they'll beat the crap out of bad teams. But then, like you said, Jack, when they play the Ravens, when they play teams like the Chiefs, the top dogs in the NFL, you need more than just Josh Allen most of the time. I mean, Josh Allen could take you really far, and he could keep you in a game with a top dog. But at some point, there comes a time where you need a little bit more, especially on the offensive side. Forget the injuries on defense. Who scares you outside of Josh Allen and James Cook? Like, no one. I mean, there's no one on that offense scares you.
Khalil Shakir scares me.
Khalil Shakir's good. I mean, he had the 52. Yes, Khalil Shakir is good.
Khalil Shakir is the future of NFL wide receivers.
Does he scare you?
In terms of how he plays the game.
Does he scare you, though? Really?
I legitimately think, I know I sometimes say silly things. I legitimately think in a year or two, I don't know how this guy made it to the 5th round. He could be in all-pro conversations. I think Khalil Shakir is a great receiver, but he's not going to do it all on his own.
Yeah, he doesn't scare me right now.
The thing is, though, too, it's like Baltimore, nobody really scares me besides Lamar and Henry.
I think
it's like Zay Flowers. I mean, Flowers is good.
I'm much more scared of Lamar the rusher than Josh Allen's a great.
No, me too.
And I'm much more scared of Henry than I am James Cook.
Zay Flowers is good,
but I think Zay Flowers is better than anyone Buffalo has. I think
by far.
Mark Andrews hasn't even shown up yet this year. I'm waiting for him to show up. But you got your guy. You got your guy Kincaid, but he hasn't done anything. So
he's done nothing.
That's what I mean for Buffalo. At some point, like, you need, hey, I'm just saying. I know the stats were bad at the end of the year. Stephon Diggs still scared me at that point. I thought he was still capable of big plays. So that's where I stand with Buffalo. But then Baltimore, I think you guys are totally right. I think they're the most dangerous team. And it's hard for me to say that, not because I'm a Steeler fan who doesn't want to say it, because I feel Kansas City is owed that much respect for what they've done the past 2 years. But right now, Baltimore, I mean, you have Derrick Henry running. Do you see he's running 2.29 miles per hour, a 247-pound, 30-year-old running back? Like, the guy's out of his mind.
I was clocked at 22.
Really?
When I was 18 years old, yeah.
You and Derrick Henry. I mean, the difference is there's a lot more. There's a lot more mass coming at you.
I think.
I mean, give me peak me, and I beat Derrick Henry 100-yard dash. It's pretty unbelievable.
Xavier Worthy was going 21.46 miles per hour. Derrick Henry was 0.17 miles per hour slower than the fastest guy in the NFL.
And I'm faster than both.
Isn't that terrifying? I can't imagine being a safety. And what Derrick Henry can do is just ridiculous. But that's where, with that two-headed attack, we haven't even seen Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews get going. That's why I think Baltimore, the ceiling for Baltimore is the highest in the AFC. I do believe that. But then it comes down to those moments where I think the consistency of Kansas City, you're going to always get that championship mentality. Baltimore can fade away in big games sometimes. That's the difference to me. I think Buffalo is a clear third. And then between those two teams, are you going to get the great Ravens team, or are you going to get the Ravens team that kind of chokes in the playoffs? Because Kansas City will be at that level when they need to be. And that's where I'm at the moment.
Kelsey, by that point, is firing on all cylinders. Kelsey
looked great yesterday.
He did. He was awesome. And then come playoff time, he'll be back to life, having his 10 catches, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So
the Rasheed, and I think the Rasheed Rice injury plays a very big role in this. I really do. Like losing the number one receiver, that is a huge, huge loss that can't be overstated for the Chiefs.
Oh, Rice is great.
Yeah,
he's been awesome. I go Baltimore, KC, Buffalo.
I think I do too, but I really, Ziggy, is it crazy to not put the Chiefs as that most dangerous team given what they always do?
They haven't looked it though.
They're still 4-0.
Every year it gets less and less likely they're going to be able to get it done as Travis Kelce gets older. Mahomes, again, he won the Super Bowl last year. I'm not taking anything away from him, but we saw in the offseason last year that he wasn't producing at the same level he historically did with the weapons who were around him there. The offense was just less efficient. They were more reliant on the defense. And I don't know. Xavier Worthy could be a huge difference maker. But I need to see more from them.
What am I doing here? No, the Chiefs. The Chiefs are no. I'm not going off it actually until I think Baltimore's great, and that shows how good I think. I'm not going off the Chiefs until again. I've said in the power rankings every week until they lose. I'm not going off them.
I'd like to see the Chiefs win a game by more than a score.
Until they lose, I'm going back to them.
They haven't like. I feel like the last couple of years, you can tell this team they haven't looked that good.
The Chiefs.
Yeah,
they've won the Super Bowl the last.
No,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying these last couple of years, you look at KC and like it's like this team is legitimate. Whereas this year,
not last year. Last year, everyone was making fun of them. They said the offense was dead.
The Chiefs had like 12 wins.
That's what I'm saying.
But the thing about the Chiefs, and I think what Paul is saying is historically they've used the first half of the season to troubleshoot the offense because they know they're good. And then they come online when it's time to come online after they've sort of worked out all the kinks. So if you're putting Casey at 1, you're just hoping that will happen again, which is not ridiculous
like history
by any
repeats. Because they have not looked great to me. They really haven't. Like they've won 4 like sloppy, sluggish games.
I mean, but they also beat Baltimore. They also beat the team that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Here was the opening to last year, right? They lost to the Lions, beat the Jaguars by a score. Blew out the Bears, which was nice. 3-point win over the Jets. Touchdown win over the Vikings, which I guess was nice. Close game against the Broncos. Then they lost to the Broncos. Like, they did not have a great start to the season last year. It was like this, where they were winning a lot of games really close. And then they turned it on when it came time.
I still felt like the Chiefs last year looked like a better team at the start than they do this year.
I think
they don't look very good.
The offense was really bad.
They should have lost to Atlanta. Baltimore should have gone to overtime.
Probably, but they won.
Like they should have lost to the chart. Like they've looked sloppy.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing about Kansas City though. Is they it's not that they're finding ways to win all the time and getting like they always find ways to win. Like they always do.
Eventually your luck runs out.
Yeah, but I'm not stepping off. I'm not getting off the train until it crashes.
With the last 2 weeks of Baltimore, are showing they're better than Kansas City is.
I think I can get behind the Baltimore ceiling being higher than Kansas City's, but until I see it. I got KC, Baltimore, and then Buffalo. And Ziggy, it sounds like... Sorry, what did you say again, Ziggy?
I would go Ravens, Bills, Chiefs.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to go crazy
on any of these 3 teams. I think I'd be surprised if it's not one of these 3 teams on top, but any of these teams I can see doing great, or even some teams from that second tier, like the Texans, could get it done. I would be,
right now, here we are week 4, I'd be very, very surprised to not see 2 of these 3 teams in the AFC Championship.
I'd actually put us at 4, not even kidding. I think we're the 4th best team in the AFC.
Well, you got to put the Colts at 4.
I think we're better than the Colts.
Colts forged.
I mean, play 9 out of 10 games. I think we win.
So, in the NFC East right now, the odds to win the division are Eagles plus 105, Cowboys plus 230, Commanders plus 290, and the Giants at plus 2,800. Right now, Jack, you're the betting savant of the show. Commanders at plus 290 has got to be a little appealing, right?
I mean, it tickles my balls a bit. It does. It tickles my balls a little bit. I mean, I like Jayden Daniels. I think this is like a part 2 of Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, where the Bears made the absolute wrong pick and the Commanders got to steal it too with Jayden Daniels. He's looked great. I mean, like he looks like he belongs in this league already. And the Commanders' defense, too, like both sides of the ball, they've looked like a legitimate team. They've looked better than Philly. They've probably looked better than Dallas.
They have looked better than Dallas.
We know the Giants aren't going anywhere. At plus 290, it appeals to me. I mean, to go what they did yesterday, go on the road to Arizona after a big win in primetime against Cincinnati, continue that and win by 30. I was like, wait a minute. I think plus 290 is a pretty good deal.
I think like, plus 290 is a good line because a different sports book has it at plus 240.
Like that tickles my balls, plus 290.
So,
yeah, that was FanDuel what I was saying.
I don't think right now. Like I don't think that Philly and Dallas is like a.
They look bad.
Yeah, it's like a Baltimore or a Buffalo or a team who is probably going to end up winning it. Like Washington is just as good, if not better. Daniels looks like a freak.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to jump the gun too early, right? And there's certainly some elements of that here. But at a certain point, you see people on Twitter debating like, oh, would you rather have Jayden Daniels or Caleb Williams? And people are saying be patient with Caleb. And like, I get all of that. But what Jayden Daniels has shown us, at this point, it's a no-brainer. You'd rather have Jayden Daniels long term. And the reason for that is because he stepped into the NFL and put together through week 4 maybe the best rookie quarterback season ever through 4 weeks. I mean, you'd have to go. It's hard for me to believe that anybody could be better than this. Only 1 turnover, incredibly effective rushing, a good passer, operating the offense at a high level without. I mean, there are decent guys around him. Brian Robinson and Terry McLaurin aren't nothing, but it's not it's not like he's on the Vikings offense, right? He doesn't have all the best weapons in the NFL, and he's playing incredibly well.
Okay. Come on.
I know.
No, he has there's a couple crazy stats that I saw through the first 4 games of the season, minimum 75 passing attempts. He has the highest completion percentage in the history of football. 82.1%. Number 2 is Tom Brady, 79.2.
Who do they play next week? Washington.
The Commanders. Ziggy, do you have their
schedule?
I
want to say a couple things.
Yeah, so next week they're hosting the Browns, and then they're going to Baltimore.
I mean, they should beat the Browns. These last 2 weeks, there's been.
I mean, dude, I'm sorry to cut you off. Listen to this: the Browns hosting the Browns at the Ravens. Let's say 1-1, right? Hosting the Panthers, hosting the Bears at the Giants. I mean, the Commanders are going to be 7-2.
They'll be favored in those 3 games.
They're going to be 7-2, right? And assuming they win the games they should win, 7-2 Commanders going into Week 9 against the Steelers.
Then they get blown out. Is that in Pittsburgh?
That's in Washington.
Oh, no, we'll lose that. Yeah, we'll lose that game.
I mean, and then they got Philly, Dallas, the Titans, the Saints, Philly, the Falcons, and the Cowboys. I mean, that's light. You win your division games, you're winning the division.
I mean, these last 2 weeks, and this may sound silly, but I believe it's true, there have been some narratives. Like, I do believe Jayden Daniels versus Joe Burrow, LSU, he was out to want to play well. This past week, you had Cliff Kingsbury, his revenge game, coming back to a team that fired him. I think they had some extra juice these last 2 weeks. And while people might not agree, I think that does carry some weight. So now I do want to see, going forward, they should beat Cleveland. Then when you have Baltimore, and as you go down the schedule, if Jayden Daniels keeps this up, this team at plus 290 is a very good bet to win the division. I mean, like you said, they should be.
Oh, but they'll go down. I mean, now's the time if you're going to do it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, because they'll be 7-2. So I mean, I would hit that bet at 3-1. I would.
Yeah. The thing that's just been so impressive about Jayden Daniels and why I think you talk about juice. I think the juice in the building now is we have a chance to win this division. 82% completion percentage is like pretty nice, right? But it's not all on gimmies. There's only 3 quarterbacks who are averaging more air yards per attempt than Jayden Daniels. So it's not like he's throwing really short passes to guys, right? This isn't a Bo Nix situation. He is throwing passes deep down the field, and they're getting there.
Well, that was also the Monday night thing. He had the bombs to McLaurin, and they were, you saw the efficiency, you saw the accuracy stats, but it was like, no, these are also on. Yeah, this is bombs, 55-yard passes. It's crazy. Sorry,
I'm just saying this offense is even better than you think. You look at like drive scoring rates, right? What percentage of their drives are they scoring on through games 1 through 4? It's the highest rate in NFL history. Beats out the 2020 Packers, the 2007 Patriots, the 2017 Rams. Those are the other 3 teams up there. Nobody has played a rookie season quite like this at the quarterback position since at least 2000, since we started tracking these things. It's one of the best, most efficient offenses we've seen in the NFL through 4 games ever. And look, they're going to come down to earth a little bit, right? But if this is their ceiling against pretty good teams getting it done in dramatic fashion, it's hard not to think that this team has a real chance. I mean, what, are you going to take the Cowboys, who have looked way more down than up? Are you going to take the Eagles, who have had their share of up and downs? There's only one team in this division that's played consistently good football after week 1, and that's the Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Philly, they just went in and got absolutely smoked by Tampa. They look terrible.
They couldn't stop them.
No, they couldn't stop them. I mean, Washington, through these first 4 weeks overall, has been clearly the best team in the NFC East. Clearly.
I mean, Ziggy mentioned it before. The Commanders this season have 23 scoring drives. Jayden Daniels has 19 incompletions. They have more scoring drives than incompletions for their quarterback.
Also, look at this.
I mean, that's insane.
This
through
guy,
4 weeks.
Jalen Hurts, is also so overrated. Like, I saw some stat. What he has? He has like 30-something TOs in the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's turned the ball over.
I think I would take Jayden Daniels over him.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Would you rather have Jayden Daniels? This is where it kind of gets crazy, and this is how these shows start to go at times. But when you look at the NFC East quarterbacks at this very moment in time, would you rather have Jayden Daniels or Jalen Hurts?
Jayden Daniels.
Would you rather have Jayden Daniels or Dak at this very, very moment?
Jayden Daniels.
I get.
But I would take Daniel Jones over Jayden Daniels.
I think I still say Dak. I don't think I'm ready to go there yet, but it's nuts that we're even having the conversation where, like, if someone says Jayden Daniels, I'll go, probably not, but there's an argument.
Daniels was my pick in Rookie Cookie. So I'm looking pretty good right now.
We don't even know what Rookie Cookie is. We never we never defined what Rookie Cookie was.
Whatever you want it to be, that's what it is.
Is that a little too far out there, Ziggy, asking Jayden Daniels or Dak Prescott?
I think that's a little bit aggressive. We talk about jumping the gun. I mean, Dak Prescott has put together year after year of high-level NFL performance. Jalen Hurts has put together at least a full season at similar to or a better level than this. But Jayden Daniels is hot. He's playing good football.
Sure is.
And at this point,
sure is.
I mean, I'm not going to pick either of those two. I'm not going to pick him over either of those two guys. But there's a chance, given how he started, that he is the best season of the three. Again, that feels crazy to say. But given the high level this offense has operated at, he and Cliff Kingsbury have looked like a power couple.
No, they 100% they do. So right now, then let's put our money where our mouths are. Jayden Daniels or the Commanders at plus 290 to win the NFC East. Who are you guys taking to win the NFC East right now after Week 4? Who's your pick?
I'll bet it right now. I'll get on it right now. Washington plus 290 is my pick.
So you're picking the Commanders to win the East. Ziggy, who are you picking?
I'm picking the Eagles still, but I like the Commanders more than the Cowboys.
I'm with you. I like Commanders more than Dallas at the moment.
Philly
I'm still
stinks.
going Philly. I think when A.J. Brown gets back, the offense will pick it back up.
Jalen Hurts has struggled because he's missing two of the best receivers in football.
Yeah, that's where I stand. I'm with you on Philly. Get your guys back. That offense, I think, is still very, very dangerous. But I flipped Washington and Dallas, which is kind of shocking because I was pretty high on the Cowboys.
Didn't I have Washington finishing 4th in our preseason predictions?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
But that wasn't crazy. I mean, in the preseason, you react to the evidence.
That's how this team's humbled me, right? You respond to the evidence. And clearly, I mean, I said this in a reaction, right? But in the building, they seemed really confident from day one that they had somebody special, that they had a guy who was going to come in and lead immediately. And, you sometimes see that in the NFL and it totally blows up. These guys were not kidding. They were not joking. That was not puffing the chest out for the media. Since that Giants game, the Commanders have completely flipped the script. And I can see why everyone in the building thinks he's the guy.
Did you see that it was a viral video that resurfaced of when Jayden Daniels transferred from Arizona State and they were cleaning out his locker room? And you hear one player in the background. He's like, "Oh, this guy was trash anyway."
I didn't see that.
then he ends up going to LSU and then making the NFL,
winning the Heisman.
Yeah, wins the Heisman, goes to the NFL. I'm glad I didn't really age well.
It's crazy after the year that CJ Stroud had to now be talking about a guy possibly having a better rookie season, and no one saw what CJ Stroud did last year before, and now we're kind of saying the same thing about Jayden Daniels. These guys just keep getting better and better. It seems it's unbelievable.
And those two busts are taken before him.
the bust that Jack is seeing.
There's two fools
going before them. All right, so in the NFC, we'll stay in the NFC. The Vikings are 4-0. Don't know how. Remember August 14th, Ziggy? Remember that date when J.J. McCarthy, we woke up to news that he was out for the season. Later on in the day, I hop off a plane going to Florida. I check my phone, and Jordan Addison carted off the field at practice, and I just tweeted out, what the F is going on right now? No one had any, what the F is happening? It just seemed like the world was falling apart before the season even started. It was a horrible offseason for Minnesota in many ways, some much, much worse than others. But here we are 7 weeks later, and the Vikings are 4-0. And I've said time and time again, I think Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores find me a better coaching duo right now in the NFL. And just listen to these statistics. Number 1 in passing touchdowns. Number 1 in interceptions. Number 1 in sacks. 29 points per game. That's 4th in the NFL. allowing 14.8 points per game. That's 5th in the NFL. I mean, they're blowing people away, and they're destroying good teams. It kind of blows your mind as a Viking fan that this could even be happening, and you want to be cautiously optimistic. But at the same time, with everything you've seen, how can you not jump on board? I'm all in. I really think that they are, at this point in time, the most dangerous team in the NFC, and I'll probably wind up having my heart broken for believing that, but it's clear as day right now, right?
You blow my mind.
Vegas doesn't think so. We opened as 2.5 point, only 2.5 point favorites on a neutral field versus the Jets.
Yeah,
that's that whole like Rodgers factor, and then they're always going to get juiced. That team stinks, the Jets.
Hey, we're great in London. I'm just telling you, all I'm telling you guys, the Vikings in London, fantastic. We've said it before on the show.
It's a lock.
We never lose. We're better in London than we are in America. Easily.
I mean, I'll be on the Vikings.
Easily.
This is the Vikings. I mean, how could you not be a believer? This is their best start since what, 2016?
Yeah,
right?
we were 5-0 that year and didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, then I guess you answered my question. Maybe you can't. Maybe you don't got to be a believer.
Just saying.
No, but I mean, I'm sure that year they didn't beat San Fran and the Texans and go on the road to Lambeau, right? Like,
no, we had good wins, but we weren't beating. Like the big one, I actually remember I was writing articles for the Viking Age at the time. I was, like 17 years old, I think.
I thought you were going to say 7.
No, 17 years old writing articles. And I believe that I wrote after they beat the Texans like 35-0 or something. They had a crazy win. And I wrote, the headline of the article was like, I believe, like Vikings #1 in power rankings. Like it's finally time to believe. And after that, they were just horrendous the rest of the year. But that was also injuries. The offensive line fell apart. Sam Bradford's a little banged up. Like there were obviously more factors that went into that.
Also, too, though, is you take a team like the Steelers a couple years back. They were 11-0, right, and lost in the first round. But you could just tell watching them game by game as they eke out these wins and don't look very good.
Yeah.
Like they weren't that good. But you got to be crazy to tell me right now, after watching this team through 4 games, I mean, a mediocre team doesn't get up 28 points on the road in Lambeau.
They passed the eye test.
They don't beat CJ Stroud and the Texans by 30. They don't beat the Niners the way they did. It's nuts to say this team is mediocre. Like this team is good, and there's every reason to believe.
I tracked down those headlines. I'm just going to read you the headlines starting at week 3.
I used to read
Wait, of my articles.
So at week 3, we've got Minnesota Vikings fans should be very proud of this team. Week 6, guess who's #1? Minnesota Vikings. Week 8, Vikings fall after first loss. Week 9, Vikings snap back to reality. Week 10, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Week 13, for the Minnesota Vikings, it's win or go home.
Oh, no.
End of season, cooking up a mess. A typical Minnesota Vikings season.
Oh, God.
So just to read that, you can see how this goes, right? You're proud, you're excited. Then you snap back to reality and you say, don't worry, it's just one loss. And then suddenly the whole season's over and your team's terrible.
That's
Those
when
articles. Oh, man.
I do. Now that you go back to that, I remember that season.
Yeah, it was a great.
I remember that
a great start. My favorite article, Ziggy, was I think it was the following year when I wrote. Oh, no, it was actually the start of that year, the very, very start. Oh, and it actually falls in line with this off season. It was Teddy's knee. It was when Teddy got hurt. The title was Teddy's knee and the utter sadness of being a Vikings fan. Fox Sports actually put that on their website, like out of nowhere. Didn't give me credit, but they put it on their website.
Ziggy, if the Vikings win the Super Bowl this year, and then you go to bed the night of Super Bowl Sunday, then you wake up at like 5, 6 a.m. and you see Sam Darnold lying next to you in your bed. Do you keep him there, or do you be like, dude, get out?
What?
What would you do? You wake up and you see Darnold lying next to you. Would you be like, Sam the man? Or would you be like, Sam, get out?
You got to high five him after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, you got to high five him. You got to be like, all right, like you can step.
I want to go back, though, to what Jack was saying a second ago. Before that, a few seconds ago.
Ziggy's thinking about it. He's thinking about the answer.
A few seconds ago. When you were saying that, or I think I said as a follow-up, but they passed the eye test. And that is something that even during the 13-4 year we had 2 years ago with Kevin O'Connell, who, by the way, 13-4 and then playoff run with Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins after having Kirk get injured, looking the best he's ever looked, followed up by this year with Darnold. Kevin O'Connell can coach. Like, unbelievable. But the 13-4 year, you just saw the defense getting picked apart every game, and you're waiting for them to get better. They never did. That was like, okay, the team's kind of finding ways. There's miraculous. The season was awesome. Miraculous win after miraculous win. But then you saw the Giants go in there, and they gave Daniel Jones his $40 million contract. They really did. I mean, Giants fans can blame the Vikings because he threw for 300. He looked like Aaron Rodgers against us. But this team's different. I mean, this one, I read an article today that said Brian Flores' defense is excelling too. They're allowing oodles of yards, was the quote. They're a bend, don't break defense, but that doesn't feel like a bend, don't break defense. I kind of disagree with that. Like, this is not a bend, don't break defense. This is a defense that's murdering people in the first half, and then they go and prevent, and teams are giving up a bunch of yards on them. Like, this is not
the Texans.
No, not the Texans, but like that's what the 49ers did. That's what the Packers did. This is not bend, don't break at all. Like, we can't define it like that. They are crushing teams, and then teams are picking up yards in garbage time. Now, Green Bay got it close in garbage time, but this is not anything close to the 13-4 defense that was allowing 400 yards a game. I mean, this is arguably a top 5 defense in the NFL.
I agree. You know the song, there was a one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater.
Yeah, that's what the team is like.
It is.
It's a purple people eater.
I watched it when that song plays in the back of my mind.
Floyd's a lunatic.
There was a one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater.
The thing about him is last year he was a lunatic because he didn't have any choice. This year, now that he has more options, he's dialed back on the lunacy a bit. He's still willing to do something absolutely crazy and unexpected because it will mess with the opposing quarterback. But that's not the norm anymore. Right? We don't have to blitz on 55% of our plays because we just don't have the guys to operate as defense. And at this point, if you're sitting back and looking at the NFC, I think it's hard to find a team that's more complete than the Vikings. They've got a top-level offense. They've got a close to top-level defense that can consistently generate pressure in big plays. And if you're the most complete team in the conference, it's very hard to not say you're a legitimate contender. And the only team I think that could be competition for equally complete, the 49ers, we beat them.
I would put the Lions in that realm. I think the Lions are pretty complete. I actually think the Packers are too, but those are the 3 teams, right, that we said in the show yesterday. We said the Lions, the Packers, and the 49ers are probably the biggest threats to Minnesota right now. It'll be like 3rd and 12, and Flores will have 9 guys on the line of scrimmage. I'm like, what is wrong with this?
What were the odds that 4 weeks in, we're talking about who the biggest threats are to Minnesota in the NFC? Our throats are a bit too red here. Let's move on.
It is nuts. It's absolutely crazy. And I just want to say too, Justin Jefferson, dude's unbelievable. Like we know that, but there was another article today.
Yes, he
There's
is.
another article that just said the consistency of Justin Jefferson should not be taken for granted. Dude had 6 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. Some like arguably game-saving plays for the Vikings. And it's just like, yeah, he's that good. Like he's great. I mean, this guy's unbelievable.
He's the best in the league.
No, like the Vikings get off to 28-0 start. Justin Jefferson does basically nothing, and you're just sitting back saying, okay, when's this guy going to get his?
Yeah, he's just, I mean, he's the first player since Antonio Gates in 2010 to have 50 or more receiving yards and 4 touchdowns and a touchdown in each game to start the season.
Yeah, he's
crazy.
He's probably the second best I've ever seen behind AB.
Behind AB? Oh, yeah. Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. And to be clear, this is Justin Jefferson's worst game as a starter. This is probably his worst 4 games as first 4 games as a starter since he was a rookie. He's done better than this in the other 3 seasons.
With the touchdown against the Jets, he'll tie Randy Moss's record for consecutive touchdowns for the Vikings to start a season. So yeah, it's been. I feel like this show I produce for the Volume is Hoops Tonight with Jason Tim. Whenever Jason talks about the Lakers, the segment can blow up much longer than we anticipated. I feel like that's going to start happening with the Vikings on this show. It's just
our throats are very red right now.
No, dude,
we have to enjoy it while it lasts because eventually we're going to be running segments. Where did it all go wrong?
Yeah, just
How could they do this again? I'm never going to believe.
Why did I ever believe? Yeah, all those things. It's amazing right now, and they're kudos. I'm going to have a segment, I think, Ziggy, where I write an apology letter to Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. Because I
told you, give him a little more time.
No, next episode I'll have my
apology. He doesn't care
letter.
About your apology.
I'm going to write an apology. I'm going to send it to Minnesota, too.
You're the guy who did an apology to Zach Wilson on this show for doubting.
That was our biggest video.
Maybe you should back off a little
bit. Well, that's because I just lost a bet. I'm a man of my word. Although, in hindsight, that fool, he didn't know him anything. He's awful.
All right. Last
I knew
thing
all
today.
along.
Last thing today here, because we're going to keep the NFC North. We kind of have the around the NFC North to some degree on our reaction shows. So what will it take for the Packers to win the NFC North after we see them drop to 2-2? They're 2 games back behind the Vikings right now. A lot of Packers fans are. I see them on Twitter today. They're very upset with their kicking game. They're upset with the turnovers. They're saying, "Hey, we left so many points on the board. We gave Minnesota the game." I actually kind of push back on that a little bit. While they did make a lot of mistakes, the Vikings also had 3 turnovers. Vikings muffed a punt. Vikings had an interception go against them that should not have been an interception. Xavier McKinney's in the red zone. The Vikings went for it on fourth down from the 3-yard line. Like, there's a lot of points that were left there too. I think both teams really did a great job of giving up opportunities in this game. But it's very understandable. The first thing that jumps out to me is Green Bay's got to get some kicking game. I mean, Narvison's missed, I think in every game this season. He missed 2 yesterday. The Packers have missed a field goal in 8 of their last 9 games. It's crazy. I mean, and then Greg Joseph, the former Viking who they cut, goes 5 for 5 against the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. I mean, he missed a lot of extra points, but Greg Joseph was fairly consistent for us in clutch situations. They got to figure out the kicking game because it cost them last year too.
I think they have to hope at some point Minnesota comes back to reality. And Jordan Love just has to be careful with the ball. I mean, last year in those 9 games, what did he have? He had 1 turnover. If that happens again, they're winning the division. I think you have to just find a way to split with Detroit, win in Minnesota. Jordan Love takes care of the ball. I mean, 4 turnovers is ridiculous, but he's so good. Just take care of the ball. Take care of the ball. And hope the Vikings come back down to earth.
He wore the Brett Favre jersey, and people were like, "Yeah, you know what? That's a Brett Favre-esque game. The hucking it all over the place.
400 yards, 4 picks, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Take care of the ball, and Minnesota comes back to reality.
I agree that I think the changes are going to have to come from Jordan Love. I mean, the Packers' defense wasn't great, but they were close to good enough. The kicking game, I mean, you're right that it was really unfortunate. It was big, it was flashy, but the kicking game is so random that it's hard to believe it's going to be this bad forever. While they could have put up 6 points due to the kicking game, you have to do better than 0 in the first half. You have to get into the end zone at some point. You can't just let a team of a good defense and a good offense just walk all over you like that. And I think that will improve. I think the Packers we saw in the second half was closer to what they were. But the big thing is going to be offensive consistency, and that's going to have to come from Jordan Love. Again, I think it will. But he's got the guys around him. Jayden Reed is here. He's arrived. Other guys around him, like Dobbs, Dontavian Wicks, they're good enough. Josh Jacobs. I know the rushing game wasn't very good this game, but he's that guy. He's good enough for them. They just need to put it together and get into the end zone, like they did against the Eagles, even though they lost, like they did against the Titans, even though that was Malik Willis. And I think with a little bit more time, we'll get there. But if they're able to do that, they've got a chance at the division. But if it takes a while, right? If you drop games to the Rams or the Cardinals or even like the Texans early in the season, you could have a team like the Vikings or the Lions just run away from you.
There's another thing too here. Penalties. They were 28th in the league coming into the game against the Vikings at 9.7 penalties per game. They had another 8 for 68 yards in week 4, 7 in the first half. So that's not just another factor. But yeah, Jordan Love, it's hard to say, hey, can we replicate those final 10 games? But just be close, get as close to that as possible, and they're at another level. Like you said.
Replicated it for a quarter.
No, he did for a quarter. And that's when we said they looked unstoppable for a quarter. All of a sudden, you were like, there's nothing you can do against them.
There are some teams, honestly most teams, where you can say, even if they play a turnover-free football game, they're probably not going to beat you. Green Bay playing turnover free, they're going to beat you. So if Jordan Love doesn't turn the football over, they're one of the better teams in the NFL.
And his knee was still clearly bothering him.
Right, it was his first quarterback.
He's also got to get. I'm telling you, someone said on Twitter, don't tell us how to play football, Paul. But when I tweeted this out, but he's got to go down. I understand that you want to pick up first downs and gain yards, but when he got up hobbling after, I can't remember who he collided with, but. Just get down. You are more important than that individual play, unless it's for the Super Bowl or a playoff game. Like Jordan Love's he's got to be smarter with that right now. He said after the game, I hope it'll continue to heal and get better. But at this moment, yeah, it's definitely something that's there regarding how much like the knee was bothering him. So keep getting that better. Slide, please. And one last thing I wanted to mention about Green Bay that I haven't really heard many people talk about yet, but the pass rush has to get home. You said it a little bit, Ziggy. You said the defense has been all right. The pass rush, they had three QB hits, 2 sacks against the Vikings. The Vikings had 1 sack, but 10 QB hits. I mean, they were in Jordan Love's face the entire game. They were making him uncomfortable. That was a huge factor. And when the Packers got to Sam Darnold, remember what happened? I mean, that got them back in the game. Well, what are you hawing? Oh, I thought Ziggy, it didn't sound like Ziggy had like an interjection.
I was just thinking the Packers are fortunate that the Vikings aren't the Saints, because otherwise Jordan Love would have lost his other knee.
Oh, gee, yeah, I know. For real.
With how often they were on him.
For real.
If we had a bounty system, good night, Jordan Love.
Yeah, but it was that kind of a game where he was just getting blown up, and that was a part of the reason he struggled a lot in the first half, where Darnold had a pretty clean pocket. And you saw what happened when you give Darnold time, he can pick you apart. He's a good passer.
And that a lot of the time, I mean, take it from a Steeler fan, it makes all the difference. It makes all the difference in the world. I mean, literally any one of these guys who are playing quarterback in the NFL, besides Caleb Williams, if they have time and a pocket, they will find somebody. But if you get to them, it's all the difference in the world.
They ranked players. This was following week 3. I couldn't find the numbers for week 4. After week 3, they ranked players based on the pressures they were expected to generate over the number of pass rushing snaps they played this year. And Rashawn Gary was 34th out of 71 qualifiers. Preston Smith, 51st. Lucas Van Ness, 61st. And Kingsley, I butchered the last name last time. He was 68th. So you have guys, really, none of them are even playing like, Rashawn Gary's the only guy playing above average by one player in the NFL. His pressure percentage is 12.5 right now, I believe, or it's 11.7. The average is 12.5% pressure rate, and he's at 11.7%. Last year, when he got the big extension, he was at 22.2%. So, like, these guys, statistically, they're just not getting there, too. It's like you can see it's not happening, but they actually, when you look at the stats, no one's getting home. I mean, they had 8 sacks against the Titans, but they're not, the ends are really not playing where you need them to be. And that was a big thing last year. Remember last year when they went on the run, they all of a sudden, the defense kind of woke up and they were getting after the quarterback. That whole first half of the season when they were struggling, they couldn't generate pressure. Like, you got to find ways. Like, these guys individually need to step it up.
They got to eat their freaking Wheaties.
Yeah, they got to step it up.
Wake up and eat their Wheaties and get to the quarterback.
When they do, when Green Bay's on, they might be the scariest team in the NFC.
But they're not paying these guys for occasionally great performance. No. They're paying them to be game wreckers week in, week out.
Yeah, Rashawn Gary's on a 5-year, $108 million contract extension.
I mean, if you paid me that kind of money,
you check out.
I can go out there and muster up some sacks. even me being like 5'10", 140 pounds, you give me that bag, I'll go out there and do what you need me to do.
This is why we love you, Jack.
I would do it. I'd find a way to do it.
It's
I think you actually think that's true.
I know it's true.
There's not even a
I'm also faster than Xavier Worthy.
There's not even a panic meter in Green Bay. That we're not trying to draw a panic or anything. We're just saying, like, what to win the NFC North and it'd be a real threat. These are the things that need to improve. Every single team has things that need to improve.
And of course you need to improve when you're down 2 games in the division.
Yeah. So, and I think it'll be a great race. I can't wait to see the Lions, Packers, and Bears and Vikings.
Oh my.
The Lions, Packers, and Vikings battled out for this. And we talked a little bit about the Bears game yesterday. I don't have many notes on that game. I know we said this was around the NFC North.
Their defense bailed them out. 2 turnovers, defense bailed them out.
Yeah, the defense.
It was Caleb Williams' best game.
It was his best game.
Can we say that?
Well, what do you have, like 120 yards?
I thought he had a little. Wasn't it like 160?
It was like 150, 160.
Yeah. But no, he played fine. You know what it was, Jack? He didn't lose the game this week. He didn't lose the game, and that's what he had been doing the previous weeks. So
I won't crap on him.
No, it's nothing crazy.
I won't crap on him.
But there's no reason to praise Caleb Williams in this game. It's just saying, hey, there's your first step up. You didn't lose a game. It's nothing close to Jayden Daniels and what we're seeing in Washington. But the Bears are 2-2. They're still 2-2. They're the same spot as Green Bay, same spot as if Detroit loses tonight. So
How do the Bears have the same record as the Packers? Just saying that, it's been such a different story for these two teams this season.
It feels
nuts. Crazy to say. Like, as we talk about the narrative surrounding them and where these teams are, the Bears, it feels like the sky is close to falling. The Packers, we're talking about their chances to win the division.
That just
kind of tells you.
That kind of just goes back to an eye test, and I guess some history as well.
Yeah, but, I mean, if you watch the games right now, you know Chicago, unless if things drastically change, which they could. I don't want to rule it out. They're not going to be a playoff threat. In Green Bay, they will be, but that's part of it. You know, that's why you play the games.
Are you a playoff threat?
I'm a playoff threat right now.
Yeah.
All right, Jack. Real quick before we get out of here, did you have any thoughts? You know, some people like listening to your Steelers opinions. Lose to the Colts, first loss of the season. Lose to Joe Flacco, who just when you saw Joe Flacco walk into the game, you knew.
Yeah, no, I texted you guys. So we got hit in the mouth early. It was 14-0 off the bat, and it happened. 16-game season, you're going to get those clunkers. And then when AR went to the locker room and Flacco came in, I think it was Ziggy texted, "This is where Pittsburgh comes back." I said, "No, it's not.
This is Joe Flacco."
I said, "This guy lives in my nightmares. He owns us."
No, well, you guys kind of got the worst of both worlds. You got the big Anthony Richardson plays that get them a lead, and then he was out of the game before it could be the Anthony Richardson throws that take him back out.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I was impressed that, I guess I'm not impressed, but I was happy to see that even we were down so big, Justin Fields put a really good second half. Like, he looked awesome in the comeback pursuit.
Yep.
Fell 3 points short. I'm not hanging my head. We're 3-1, lost the game on the road, ended up making it close. It was respectful. We could have easily folded onto Dallas at home on Sunday Night Football.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. I thought Justin Fields looked good. Ziggy, you would have got upset, Jack, for a second. Ziggy was saying that he was like, "Is it rush time?" I was like, "Yeah, I actually thought Fields looked pretty good."
I thought Fields looked good.
The rushing was unbelievable yesterday.
I mean,
he was running like a lunatic.
The first quarter and a half, he was kind of mid, but I think you had the Pickens fumble, then you had the bad snap in the last drive. I mean,
they have a lot of bad snaps, don't they? Pittsburgh,
Fields, they do.
They've had like one a game, right?
Maybe more.
But even in preseason,
I like Fields. I think he played well. I mean, 3-1 is just a loss. I like that we were pretty resilient second half. I don't know much else to say. I mean, Flacco played a good game.
Flacco looked good.
I mean, that's what he's done to us.
And you didn't really have the defensive plays. I think Pittsburgh a lot of times, like they kind of need a big defensive play here or there.
I don't think we had a turnover.
Yeah, you were waiting for it. You were waiting for it at the end. They had the big sack. Remember at the end of the game, the end of the right at the end when they got the ball back, I think. And you're kind of waiting for TJ Watt to go and scoop and score to win the game, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's a disappointing loss because I don't think the Colts are very good.
No, they're not. I mean, you play that game 10 times, we probably win 7 of them. Mm-hmm. But we do this every year where we play a team we should beat and end up losing. It doesn't shock me at this point. But
still winning the division.
I mean, schedule now it's going forward. It's not too hard. Hosting Dallas, we're favored. Hosting the Jets, I think they might stink.
Those are going to. I'm actually really excited for you guys in those games because those are teams in Dallas, and I actually think Pittsburgh is kind of in that same group where the Jets and Cowboys have underperformed from where we expected them to be, and the Steelers have overperformed from where we expected them.
Relax.
So no, I think that this is a good test to hey, prove it. Go out there and beat the Cowboys. Go out there and beat the Jets. You win those games, people are going to elevate you up a tier.
Oh yeah,
and they're both at home.
Both at home on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
You know we're going to win both those games.
I don't pick against the Steelers. I'm not going to... I won't actively say I'm sorry. I won't pick against the Steelers at home anymore. I know better than Sunday Night Football in Pittsburgh to pick against them because weird things happen there.
You better know better.
I will.
You better know better too.
Ziggy will. Weird things happen in Acrisure.
Actually, I don't know with Micah Parsons and Lawrence out. That's a tough one.
Oh, yeah, you know.
Yeah, that is bad.
You can't be a fool.
Who's the best pass rusher on the field if Micah plays in that game? Micah and TJ Watt.
TJ. I think it's honestly like a blowout, too. I think TJ is much better.
I think TJ...
but not even being biased.
Ziggy, do you like Micah Parsons or TJ Watt? I think I go Watt right now.
Are you just talking pure pass rushing?
Who do you want? Defense. Who do you want on your team?
I mean, I'll take Micah Parsons, but
I'm not
pure pass rushing. It's not close. Micah Parsons, TJ Watt adds a lot of value elsewhere, but I don't think that makes up for him being a worse pass rusher.
I think I've always been for a year. I think I was saying
Although-
Micah Parsons is straight up the best player in football.
Watt's
but
a pretty
TJ
good.
Watt, oof.
Watt's a pretty good pass rusher. though.
Watt is a pretty good passer.
No, again, TJ Watt is one of the maybe 5 best pass rushers in the NFL. I am not saying he's bad at it by any means, but you're comparing him to the guy who's probably the best.
Who's better, him or me?
How much are you getting paid?
The same as Watt.
You.
I agree.
All right, there you go. We'll wrap it up. We'll announce the winner of the Week 4 Pick'em competition later this week. We appreciate everyone who's been with us. We had a lot of fun this week going over the games. So we'll be back with a prediction show coming up for Week 5. Jeez, Week 5 right around the corner, and we'll see you then.